Matthew Dowd appeared with Nicole Wallace, and he has a few inconvenient truths about the GOP. But more importantly, watch how he admonishes the media and quite a bit more, because he has a lot to say about where the Republican Party has gone and where the Democratic Party, unlike what they'd like you to believe, where they've gone. Check this out. Let's take it on the other side.
Let's bring into our conversation Matt Dowd. I think we share this frustration that we analyze the parties on this sort of two-dimensional flat right-left. This is sort of about up-down and into the either. And where Republicans have gone is down. They have descended into things that aren't true, things that aren't moral, things that aren't ideological at all.
I sent out that tweet that you and I exchanged in response to Elon Musk's tweet, which is basically saying, I voted for Obama, but the Democratic Party is left, and so I can no longer support. I've thought about this for a long time, and it's very frustrating because it gets repeated over and over and over again, and it's extremely dangerous. And the reason why it's dangerous is that because what a bunch of voters out there, they hear this, well, one party moved left, one party moved right, and like, what's the point? It doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. And what's happened is, if you think about the center of the country, let's call it the St. Louis suburb. Let's grant that the Democrats might have moved to Kansas City, not far away. The Republicans have left the United States and have moved to Hungary or moved to Russia. That's where the problem is. The Democrats, if you might disagree with them on certain issues and certain stands they take, they still believe in the democratic traditions and what our founding principles are, whether it's equal justice for all men and women should be treated equally, we should have, elections, universal suffrage, all that. They still believe in those things. A huge element of the Republican Party no longer believes in those things. So the idea that we have this debate about, well, one's moved left, one moves right. Well, one's gone completely and left the country. The other one has moved a few miles away. That's one. Two is what the country is in its political equilibrium isn't stagnant. It's dynamic. And the country as a whole, because of its changing nature of its diversity, it becoming multicultural, has actually moved more left. That's why a majority of the country believes in gun reform. That's why a majority of the country believes in taxes on the very wealthy. That's why a majority of the country believes in healthcare expansion. All of those things are a viewpoint of the majority country, much closer to the Democratic Party. And the last thing I'll say is, here's a great way to think about it, Nicole. The best way to think about it is the 2012 election. Mitt Romney versus Barack Obama. Joe Biden, who was Barack Obama's vice president, is very close to where Barack Obama was. Think about the distance between Donald Trump and Mitt Romney. And that's the move that's been made. There's been very little movement on the Democrats in the last 8 or 10 years in that space between Barack Obama to Joe Biden in the stature of it. But think about how far it's gone between the 2012 Republican nominee for president, Mitt Romney, and Donald Trump, and where the Republican Party is today.
What has moved off the map, as you're saying, out of the country is the right, not the left. And I think that this idea that the opposite is true is something that the Republicans have perfected, and it's the politics of projection. And Republicans are very well served by associating Joe Biden, the Democratic Party standard bearer right now, he's president of the country, he was the nominee of their party, with policies that are less popular than the things that are part of his agenda or things he signed into law, than the Democrats have been in painting the right with the politics of Marjorie Taylor Greene and the people that Kevin McCarthy is willing to protect. He punished one person after January 6th. It wasn't Marjorie Taylor Greene. It wasn't alleged child sex trafficker Matt Gaetz. It was Liz Cheney. And I wonder what your advice is for Democrats to sort of push the frame back toward reality.
And many of us in the media have allowed this dynamic develop that they're both one left, one right, and, take your pick, depending on where you are in this. And the Republicans love that dynamic because that allows them to do whatever they want, go towards autocracy, if the center of the country thinks they've both moved. And what Democrats have to do, and we in the media have to do, is one, understand what the brand of the Republican Party is and convey that every single day. The brand of the Republican Party is Donald Trump, and to a large degree, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's more popular among Republicans today than Liz Cheney is. That's one. And two, we have to basically say, here's the map. One's still in the Democratic traditions. You may disagree with them on issues, but they're still followers of the Constitution and Democratic traditions. The other one has left the United States.
The other party has left the United States. Notice what he said. He pretty much says the country is pretty much a democratic country. Most people in the country align with democratic values, but because of the media, because of the narrative, many people won't see it that way. And it's important, and he stated there, it is important that the media gets the narrative right and exactly stamp the Republican Party for who they are, an autocratic party, as well as to ensure that Americans understand which is the only party in this country thus far that supports what the ideals of most people are, which is freedom, a democracy. So while the other party is projecting freedom, while the other party is projecting morality, the ones who are actually actuating that, the ones who are actually effecting that, are the Democrats and the progressives. I mean, when you have a former Republican turned Democrat again saying that, you understand that this is real. So, folks, don't forget it. Don't allow the Republicans or the right wing media to snow the American people. Do what needs to be done. 2022, whereas many believe it's a loss for Democrats in the House, it's only a loss for Democrats in the House if Democrats get lazy. It's only a loss in the House if Democrats refuse to engage. It's only a loss in the House if Democrats don't do the job and engage not just the coast, engage all of America, irrespective of what you believe where your voters actually are. Because you know what? Based on what they want you. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.